Hi guys, welcome to our first day Tarik session. Since this is our very first video, if you are curious about what inspired us to start this channel, feel free to check out our channel description below so you know where we are coming from. Now normally our style should be quite, chill and relaxing, but it is not quite the case for today's topic. Well, if you did notice, we just had our World Suicide Prevention Day a few days ago on the 10th of September. So let's look at the issue on suicide in Malaysian context, shall we? And yes, today we are talking about attempted suicide. Suicide is certainly not something new in Malaysia, where we have hundreds of attempted suicide cases reported every year, and the number has drastically increased in 2021. Mind you, the number published is just the reported cases, and we have not taken into account the unreported ones, meaning that the real number of cases could be much higher. It is actually hard to see how COVID-19 has further worsened the situation recently. But do you know that attempted suicide is actually a criminal offense under our Malaysian Penal Code? So if Suicide Squad are actually Malaysians, probably they are behind bars now. More importantly, do you know the rationales behind it to criminalize suicide attempts? Now the question is, should the suicide survivors be taken to the court to face criminal charges or be taken to mental health facilities to solve their problems? As you can see, Section 309 of the Penal Code provides that whoever attempts to commit suicide and does any act towards the commission of such offence shall be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year or with fine or with both. Now historically, criminalizing attempted suicide is no doubt a way to punish the suicide survivors. It works as a deterrent to the general public to avoid imitations from others. Well, basically the lawmakers are trying to prevent suicide cases by making you think that it is not good to commit suicide because you will either, number one, die if you succeed, or two, end up in the prison if you survive. However, the surveys carried out throughout the years have shown no positive influence by criminalizing such act because for someone who is so tired of living in this world, he simply doesn't care about the imprisonment or the fines. It is like for someone who is mentally prepared to fail his exam and the teacher says, hey, I'll deduct 2 marks for your spelling mistake. Come on, deduct how many marks you like. He simply doesn't care. Another main reason of criminalizing suicide attempts is due to one's religion. Many believe that only the God has the right to decide the end of a person's life. Therefore, you might be going against the God's intention if you sinfully ended your life earlier than it should be. Whatever it is, reality shows that the law itself is no longer relevant in this society. Criminalizing attempted suicide by imprisonment or with fines certainly doesn't stop someone from committing suicide. That's why most of the countries in the world have decriminalized attempted suicide. Some countries have even done it decades ago, and our neighboring country, Singapore, has also done it in 2019. Malaysia, however, is still sticking to the outdated law. Well, for your information, Malaysian law originated from English common law, but even UK itself has already decriminalized attempted suicide. What is Malaysia doing on this matter? So now you might be asking, if we don't punish them for suicide attempts, then what should we do? Now the answer is simple. Help them. And by helping them, I mean from the mental health aspects. It is clear that most of them who have suicide attempts are suffering from at least one mental illness, be it severe depression, bipolar, etc. Those illnesses don't cure by themselves by imprisonment or fines. That's why some of them might come out from a prison with even worse mental health issues. Therefore, instead of punishments, it should be replaced with mental health assistance from the professionals. There are so many examples on what kind of mental health care policies or frameworks that we can learn from other countries and implement it in Malaysia. Our neighboring countries like Singapore and Thailand both have comprehensive systems and databases to detect those who are with higher risk and probability to commit suicide. And it doesn't stop there. Besides detecting, they are able to monitor them from time to time to prevent repeated suicide attempts. Without the cruel punishments under the law, it may to a certain extent encourage those who are in need of help to seek help from the relevant authorities. Try to think about it. If you know that attempting suicide is wrong under the law, when you have suicide plans suddenly in your head, will you seek help from others? Probably not. And you will keep everything to yourself and end up resorting to committing suicide. And by then, everything is too late. So, let's hope that one day the Malaysian government will look at this issue seriously, because although this issue has been raised to the attention of the government for multiple times, but so far there is no substantial action taken to amend or to repeal such cruel law altogether. During this hard time of pandemic, we sincerely urge every one of you to make the first step to seek help from the relevant agencies or authorities if you feel that something is not right with your mental health. Now you can refer to the link below if you are not sure about the assistance available for you. Now, while it is perfectly normal to feel down at a certain point of time in your life, it is unusual to have a constantly low mood for days or even weeks, Don't feel like talking to anyone, don't feel like doing anything, neglecting your studies or your work. Youngsters nowadays like to say YOLO, right? Yes, you only live once, no U-turn. So stay safe everyone, and we will get through this, alright? So I think that's all for today's video. Don't forget to like our video and click on the subscribe button to subscribe to our channel. If you have any suggestion for us, any topic that you wish to know more, please do comment down below so that we can have more content for you in the future. Thank you very much.
You're not alone.